minus 9 minutes and counting.
And we're at T-minus 9 minutes and counting, and the ground launch sequencer has been initiated. NASA Test Director John Guidi is about to call for the transmittal of stored pre-launch commands as Atlantis is less than 9 minutes away from launch on a mission to the Mir space station to retrieve astronaut Jerry Linenger, who has been in space now for the past 4 months.
TLT OTC. Go ahead. Configure fuel cell essential bus source switches.
T-minus 8 minutes and counting, and pilot Eileen Collins is now flipping switches in the cockpit to directly connect the 3 fuel cells to the essential power buses. Flight reports that the 3 fuel cells are continuing to look good.
VLS is go for OAA retract.
And the orbiter access arm is now being retracted away from the vehicle. This is the walkway used by the crew to gain entry into and out of the orbiter, and it can be returned to position within seconds if need be. T-minus 7 minutes and counting.
JRTS OTC. CIPS. Start APU and hydraulic should start recorder. Copy. Verified. TLT OTC. Go ahead. Form APU pre-start. That's it.
Orbiter test conductor Mike Key has given pilot Eileen Collins the go-ahead to perform the auxiliary power unit pre-start procedures, T-minus 6 minutes and counting.
OTC, PLT, 3 gray cockpits.
Okay.
Eileen Collins has reported that the pre-start of the APUs is complete. APU activation will come up in just a few seconds. T-minus 5 minutes and counting.
TLS is go for orbiter APU start. TLT perform APU.
And we have a go for APU start. APU activation is in work.
CDR reconfigure heaters. CDR heater reconfig is in work.
The solid rocket booster and external tank safe and arm devices are being armed. And the main fuel valve heaters on the 3 shuttle main engines have been turned on.
Basic copy. And heater reconfig is complete. Copy.
Next, we'll see a final test of the flight control surfaces. T-minus 4 minutes and counting.
Yeah, let's just go for third sequence 4.
And control surface checks are now being conducted. Next, the 3 main engines will be gimbaled as a final test before launch. We're at T-minus 3 minutes and counting, and all is continuing to go well for today's launch. This mission carries a multinational crew of 7 who will spend the next 9 days in space, 5 of those days docked with the Mir space station. And final pressurization of the liquid oxygen tank located inside the external tank is now underway.
CLT OTC, clear caution and warning memory and verify no unexpected errors. CLT verified.
And the gaseous oxygen vent hood is being slowly retracted away from the top of the external tank. Everything looks good and we're cleared for launch today. No problems are being reported from the vehicle or the crew.
And flight crew OTC, close and lock your visors and initiate O2 flow.
T-minus 2 minutes and counting.
On your international flights. And Atlantis copies to the whole NASA team and to our partners around the world. Спасибо большое. Увидимся скоро после успешного полета. Merci pour tout ce que vous avez fait pour le succès de notre world. And thanks for making Atlantis such a beautiful bird. We're ready to take it to orbit and be with our friends on Mir. 1 minute, 30 seconds.
All systems are go. Space Shuttle Atlantis is 90 seconds from beginning its 9-day mission to dock with the Mir space station. The liquid hydrogen tank inside the external tank is being reported at proper flight pressures. T-minus 1 minute and counting. The booster joint heaters are being deactivated at this time, and everything is still looking good for launch of the Shuttle Atlantis from Kennedy Space Center in Florida. We are transferring to orbiter internal power at this time, and Atlantis is now running off its 3 onboard fuel cells. Coming up on a go for auto sequence start. T-minus 31 seconds.
Yeah, let's go for auto sequence.
And we have a go for auto sequence start. Atlantis's onboard computers have primary control of all the vehicle's critical functions. T-minus 20 seconds. T-minus 15. 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. We have a go for main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1. We have booster ignition and liftoff of the Space Shuttle Atlantis, maintaining America's constant presence in space.
Houston now controlling the flight of Atlantis.
Yeah, but we Houston with a well program.
Roger, roll, Atlantis. Echoing the words of Yuri Gagarin on his launch 36 years ago, Commander Charlie Precourt puts Atlantis into the roll, heads down, wings level for the 8.5-minute ride to orbit. Mike Full headed to the Mir space station. Seconds into the flight, Atlantis' 3 liquid fuel main engines now throttling back in a 3-step fashion to 67% of rated performance to dampen the stress on the shuttle's aero surfaces as it breaks through the sound barrier. 53 seconds into the flight, the main engine's now beginning to rev up to full throttle, 104% of rated performance. The engines, along with the 3 fuel cells and 3 auxiliary power units, all functioning normally.
Atlantis, go with throttle up.
Go with throttle up.
The throttle up call acknowledged by Commander Charlie Precourt on the flight deck of Atlantis, joined by pilot Eileen Collins, flight engineer Carlos Noriega, and mission specialist Jean-Francois Clairvoy. Down on the middeck, mission specialist Ed Liu, Elena Kondakova, and Mike Full beginning 4 months in space. 1 minute 40 seconds into the flight, Atlantis traveling at 2,300 miles per hour, already 17 miles downrange from the launch site, 20 miles in altitude. 15 seconds away from solid rocket booster separation. That will be commanded by the general purpose computers through the master events controller on board. Booster officer confirms a good solid rocket booster separation. Guidance is converging on all 3 main engines, now gently steering Atlantis for a precise keyhole in space for main engine cutoff.